G'day. Sorry it's not much of a video. Weather's not very good outside. We've got a new car, as you can see, running like a dream. Rover still waiting for parts. The L200 we eventually sold for 8.5, and I've accumulated a, yes, it's in the kitchen, okay, it was quicker for me to do, but a DR200 engine. I think this is a new style, because the old style DR200s I don't think had an electric start, but it turns over. So the plan is to get a carburetor and things for that, and put that in the DR125, and hopefully you hear in the future. But just thought I'd give an update on the road. So I sent an email, I think it was about February, March, to government asking about the road, proposal of getting a road built to the farm. So basically they went and took it to the higher upper people, and it got passed. Then they had to pass it through another lot of meetings, and that's where it failed from our councillors. One of the councillors is stating that because we do not meet the 2,000 sheep requirement or the 10,000 per annum income, we are not eligible for the road. And after all that, we've been declined until we do a 5-year business plan, which is fair enough. I'm a bit gutted that they couldn't have asked for that before the meeting. We could have got it all done and handed to them. They would have seen the paperwork. They could have said, look, if you hand a 5-year plan in, we can probably get on a lot further. But no. So basically, from Falklands Wool Growers, we get this diagram that sort of has all the wool contents and for everyone in it, and how much you get and all that. And with doing all the accountants with my old man, spending a bit of time with them, sorting it out. Don't really need that bit. We've established a thing. So our agricultural returns is from poultry. We have 7. We have where's the sheep total? We have 1,653 sheep on our farm. It is capable of running 22,000 sheep. This is this year's one. And in 2019, we had, once I find whatchamacallit, 1,700 sheep. And 2020, this is the percentage of lambing and whatnot, for the farm. So our income with our wool and everything taken in comes over the 10 grand wool clip, and I have the proof of the farm accounts here, that our wool clip is in the circled bit. I don't know if you can see that, is over the 10 grand mark. So in 2020 we've earned £12,648 through our wool clip. In 2019 was 22,000, and obviously that was with the pandemic for 2020 as well, and then 2018 was 22,600. We can't do obviously this following year because obviously 2021, because it's not finished yet. So but we think it is close to the £12,648. So I asked my old man to help me out on this, because obviously I've only run the farm for a year and I didn't really have much dealings to the account. So my old man's written this letter to sort of give me a helping hand, and it sort of puts everything into perspective, sort of thing. So it goes, Corriedale Farm income for the years 2018 to 2020. The following income sheets are evidence of income from wool received for Corriedale Farm in support of your requested financial plan, to confirm that Corriedale Farm, up until the COVID crisis, was bringing in around 20,000 per annum. After COVID, the world industry virtually closed, and when reopened, only produced half the revenue to the wool producers across the globe. The Falklands government purchased the majority of the wool from local farms during 2020 at half the value farmers would have normally received, and which they did. So last year we actually sold our wool to government, the local government here. They bought it to help the farmers out, and they actually paid us over 10 grand for our wool, which was just a fraction over half of what we normally would get. So they would have known that we would have been over the 10 grand mark anyway. But anyway, for the record, the following sums were received during these years. 2018 was £22,166. 2019 was £22,125. These figures are pretty average to previous years as well. 2020 was £12,648. Wool prices crashed due to COVID. While FIG may have record on their assessment package a sum of £10,327 as having been paid for the wool clip, they did not record the wool already sold through Falklands Wool, which is the company that we sell our wool to overseas. So we had already sold some wool before the government had actually decided to buy it all off us. Government paid us the money, and then obviously they didn't add on, I'm guessing, the money that we'd already done was completed. So 2020 once again shows, because of still low wool prices from the backlash of COVID, to be yielding this year for you approximately 10,870, which is just over the £10,000 bracket. No one can predict the future of wool as the world comes out of COVID, and it can be several years but yet before wool prices reveals levels before COVID, but that every farmer is in the same boat even though they already have an access road. This is true. So every farm nearly on the islands has an access road to their shearing shed to get their supplies from their shearing shed off and on the farm. I will read an email once we've done this business plan and it's gone through. I will go through the whole process and show all the documentation I had to go through to get just a simple thing as a road built to the farm. But basically what they're saying is that we have to have at least a 10,000 per annum income or a minimum of 2,000 sheep on the farm. There is farms that run less than 2,000 sheep but have cattle or self-caterings or tourism, as long as they're a working farm. A working farm counts as a business. A business has to pay business taxes. We have to pay business taxes because we're classed as a farm, but on the financial side we're not. So my argument is going to be, if this doesn't get passed, is if they're not classing us as a farm, that means theoretically I shouldn't have to pay taxes. I think that's the way I'm looking at it anyway. So, and like that my old man said in this letter, no one can predict the wool prices for the future. We don't know if they're going to drop for the next couple of years or if they're going to rise for the next couple of years. But they've also got to understand this at the moment is our only income for the farm. We also are planning on selling sheep to the abattoir, which we do normally every 2 to 3 years. We send a load of sheep to the abattoir, which we normally get between 4 or 5 grand on that as well. But we're also planning on making sheep pallets and doing field work and increasing numbers to over what the farm can handle by intense grazing. And also by doing some self-catering so people can go out and see the farming lifestyle, which is all parts and parcels of the future plans for the farm, which is very hard when you don't have access in and out of the farm. So it should be pointed out to those concerned that the road link to the farm should not just be based on a given number of sheep or how much they produce in an income, as not everyone wanting to establish themselves in camp will want to be sheep farmers, which is correct. I know one chap that's just rented a little plot of someone that's doing gardens. So, you know, he's going to be classed as a farmer. He's on the farming registry list as a farmer, but he is a farmer in hydrocultural food, basically. So it sort of doesn't, you can't have 2,000 sheep if you're growing veg. I recommend you talk with the FIDC about your plans and seek their help in writing your up a 5-year business plan, the background knowledge of the income potential for the farm as it was before COVID-19. So FIDC is a company that's called the Falklands Development Corporation, and they are there to help anyone that's got a business proposal, either it be in Stanley or out of camp, to help fund it on a certain payback scheme to sort of progress you in your future. I went to FIDC about doing a few plans on doing the pallet making for livestock, and I do think that I could make enough pallets, plant enough grass, make enough pallets, and make a living off that more than I could actually make off the sheep itself. But the problem I got is that they wouldn't fund me because I had to own the land, and my dad would have to give me be part of it, which I find very hard to believe, being that the guy that was originally doing the gardens that I know was on my uncle and aunt's land, got funding to do all that, and yet they didn't have to do anything about it. So I don't fully understand where they were coming from on that side of things either. But hey ho, it is what it is. So it's a bit fun. But anyway, wool prices are reported to be improving, and who knows what the next years will be for the farming community. Safe to say, without infrastructure such as an all-weather road, few would have any chances of being successful. It is very difficult with not having a road. So basically, for us to cart our wool from where it is, from where it gets off the sheep back to Stanley, it has to be trucked in. We cannot drive trucks along a soft bit of ground. So we have to use either tractors and trailers to get them to the road to load onto a big truck. I've got my canter, which I can load up at the shed, but I have to tow up with the tractor the hill because I can't go across the flat bit because it's too soft. And if I either have to get someone to help drive the tractor or the truck up the road. If we use the tractors and trailers to take it to the road, I have to cover it all up with tarps the day before, take it to the road, get my uncle to bring his JCB over from his farm, which is about an hour's drive, to help load up the thing, which is an extra cost to me from just loading it straight onto the truck. And then I've got to pay the truck per hourly rate as well for bringing the wool in. And there's a lot of other costs that comes into sending wool away too, that for freight charges, insurances, the commission of the guy selling it, So there's a lot of hidden costs that people don't see. Corriedale Farm is a very difficult place to access in the winter, and indeed in wet weather, given the steepness of the approaching hill at the alternative valley and swamps. So as you can see on some of the videos that I've done, there is a hill going down that we go down to get to the shed. That hill water runs down it, so putting a road down a long hill is pointless. I shouldn't really have all the machinery on top of the hill that I got. Our well comes from that hill. So I've got to make sure everything I set up there doesn't theoretically have major oil leaks or anything like that could seep down into our drinking water. So that's why we want to put the road on the other side of the settlement. If they were to come straight as a crow flies from the road to the house to the shed, say for example, straight past to the shed, it will catch a house as well, you would have half a dozen wavy coils and culverts put in, and you'd have to put teram nearly all the way because of the softness of the ground. It is over 2 meters of clay, blue clay, and water runs between the soil and the clay and the hard rock bottom. So it's not a good spot to put. There's an abundance of water comes down that hill. Even during the summer, it's wet. When we were doing that cesspit tank, you could see the depth of the clay. That is like it down that whole valley. So instead of building a whole road on that stretch, if they come on the other side, they would only have a small little stretch to go across the ditch. Then they got a nice hard ridge, which would be the hard stand also for me to put the buildings on, which I'd like them to do at the same time, doze it off and just cap it. Doesn't have to be much, just enough to sit the buildings on. And then come down, put a culvert in the ditch, and then go around to the shed. Simple as. That way they miss all my water pipes and only have to cross over one pipe, which will be the sewer pipe. Makes life a lot easier. We found it very near impossible to safely operate in these circumstances and had to live off the farm because of the risks should there be a medical issue or not being able to get essential provisions in and out. We did pretty well to get through as we did. He is right. So when my old man lived at the farm originally, my sister has her own disabilities where they had things. I had asthma and croups where I had to be quite closely monitored, sort of thing when I got colds. So asthma, I think, is when you can't breathe in, croups when you can't breathe out. I'm the 1 in 1,000 that suffered with both, so I basically couldn't breathe. 9 times out of 10 I'd have to be put on a nebulizer, and I would go sent to hospital until my parents bought their own nebulizer because the government wouldn't supply us with one, being that we were out of camp. And we had no road then. We were also stuck by a river. Luckily the river now has a bridge, so we don't get stumped on the flooding on that side so much. But we do from our farm that we're at now, from getting from the settlement to the thing. You can't, yes, it's very unlikely you to get bogged, but there is a potential of getting stuck. And it has happened. I've had visitors come over and get stuck. For me, I'm not too worried. I sort of know the hills and I know the camp and I can get away with it. But I can't tow fuel. I can't take a carload of stuff over there because it makes the car too heavy to get across. So I have to make sure I'm a year ahead of myself on things like that. And like for when we had that boiler problem and it near ran out of fuel, I was just lucky that we had a bit of a dry spell where I managed to get the fuel down to where I needed it. And luckily after that week it just poured down rain and it hasn't eased up. The camp's been absolutely soft as hell. So I've been very lucky on that aspect. The future of the farm is totally dependent on the safe of all weather access and the right that you surely should have been given. is what he means by that is that I should have a right to have a road, being that everywhere else has got a road. I know there's a couple of farms still that hasn't got a road. I know there's one that kicks up about not having a road, due to the fact is there was a deal made before they purchased the farm, that the previous owner made a deal with government. That's not my fault. There's another farm that's going to get a road. We capped a road last season driving trucks to a farm, a working farm, already had a road, capped a road, all the way there from. None of the other farms are getting capped roads. It's only the main circuit that's getting capped. So they managed to justify capping that. So I can't see why they can't justify building me a road. And second of all is that anyone is eligible for a road. It is stated that the government is there to help people move out to camp and help families move out to camp. The one of the biggest things in anything you do is a foundation, and a foundation to me is not just a simple thing that you sit a house on. It's the access, safety. Times have changed. We don't have an airport there or an airfield on there anymore, so the Islander doesn't land on there. You can't send wool out on the Islander. If you had a road that you can use all year round, you could cut stuff out whenever you want, cut stuff in whenever you need. You're just progressing from where you are. So it would hopefully mean that we could progress, and we will progress. Once the road's in, we can bring the buildings over. We can't drag these buildings over camp anymore like we used to years ago. The cost of doing it, yes, it can be done, but it costs so much more money, so much more time. With a road, you can sit the buildings in place in one fell swoop. For me, dragging them over, I could get an extra building brought over maybe a day and knock my 2-week building down to about a week of carting, and then spend the next week making them watertight. But if I don't have a road, I can't do that. I've got to tight the buildings there, put them in place, then make sure they don't get blown to pieces and all that while I'm moving the next lot over. Well, if I can bring over quite a few of them at once and stack them all together, especially on the link ones, there's less chances of it happening. And if I don't move them soon, they're going to get damaged anyway, and I'm not going to have them. So I'm going to end up losing out on money on infrastructure for the farm because of the purpose of not having a road. Yes, Dad's also put in here, yes, I've been told that we were a hobby farm because we do not permanently live on the farm. We have been told that. Because of the conditions already mentioned, yet when it comes to taxation, we are clearly defined as a business, and we are. So we're currently called a hobby farm because we're not living on there. But yet when it comes to taxation, when the government wants your money, you're classed as a business instantly. And he wishes me every success with the help. So I'm hoping to go to FIDC, and with a very lovely lady that's there, hopefully she's going to help me write out a 5-year plan on hopefully to propose to government and prove to them that I think I'm eligible for this road, which I feel that if they turn it down, there's going to be a lot of more cans of worms opened up, I'm afraid. I've got all the accounts, 3 years worth of accounts that my old man has willingly let me. Now, theoretically speaking, I've now taken the farm on from him, and theoretically I should only be allowed 1 year. So then, theoretically speaking, that I'm going to make a 5-year plan. I need 3 years back, sort of log, that I would have to live on a farm at least 3 years before theoretically I could apply for anything. Luckily for me, it's my dad, and I can just go up and ask him, and he keeps good records of everything. So it's helped me out on that side. But yeah, so I just thought I'd give you an update on that. There's not really much been happening this week. My wife's got a real sore bad. She got a trapped sciatica, so we've been helping out with that. We had darts last weekend. I think it starts this weekend, but I don't think she's going. We were going to go to the farm this weekend, but we're not going to, due to the fact is that the weather's meant to be pants, and because my other half's not very well, I think I'll just stay in town and guddle around. I've got the truck full of rubbish at the moment, so I'll probably go and empty that out and load that up with some stuff, and then get that ready to take out to the farm. I have got a Kubota digger to go and pull apart and pick up, so I might even do that on the weekend and try and get that brought home, and then haul that out maybe when the weather turns nice, spend a day hauling that out. So yeah, it all takes time, but we'll get there. So thank you for watching, and sorry this video isn't much, but due to the fact is that I have had to spend a lot of time going through paperwork and really what sort of winds me up is that I hadn't had an email from government stating that they could have asked for this extra information. I wrote an email that be running X amount of sheet and sort of thing. So yeah, it's a bit annoying, for a 2 minute email, that it would have been quite helpful, but never mind, you live and learn. But I'm accepting this as a challenge, and I'm not going to give up. I'm taking today as a bit of an easy day because I'm helping my other half. She can hardly move around, so I'm just making sure she's all right and just sort of going from there. Meant to be at work, sorting out a coach, ready for when we go to New Haven to do stuff. But sadly, my wife comes first, and we're going from there. But yeah, so don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Don't forget to share with your friends the site and see if we can make it grow. I have made a thing that if we don't have 100 subscribers by the new year, or at least get close to it, I'm going to cut videos down to probably once a month if there's not much on. Because trying to do videos and get stuff done at the same time is a lot more trickier. I don't want to. I know you all like helping out. But I think what I'll end up doing is just doing once a month video on the farming life, and maybe in the middle of the month do a video on the mechanical side of the farming life. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it, but I'm putting a lot of time into trying to find things content for you guys to be able to watch, and I'm struggling, so that's why some of the videos are not that good. Some of them has been slapped together a little bit quick, so I do apologise for that. But if you like the videos that I'm doing, please put in the comments below to keep going, and I'll keep going. This is to let me know that I'm doing a good job and what you'd like to focus on. I am getting, hopefully, the surprise that I've been after. It is coming. In fact, you've actually seen a picture of it. In one of my videos, I put up a picture in a corner, somewhere like this corner, or was it that corner? Or it might have been that corner. Can't remember. Might even been in the middle. But it was only for a few seconds, and then you would have had to be watching. But there was actually a video or a picture put up on the video, so but you should see that hopefully in the next couple of weeks. The payment will be going through for it very shortly, and it will be coming, and once that arrives, we've got a lot of stuff to do with it. It's no wasting time, so it's all gonna kick off. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, and put in the comments below what you like and what you think you would like to see more of. I've also got a run to do to the west of picking up another machine, which is going to be a couple of days job, and I'll probably have another video on another vehicle that a mate's doing up, which there's not many of them down here. There used to be quite a few, but there's not now, and I think you'll quite enjoy it. So, but we're just waiting for him to get it going. It is a V8, so there's a clue, and he's got it running, and it moves under its own steam, but there's a few little trinket things that he wants to just do, just to make sure it's good before he takes it out. And when he takes it out, we're going to do a video on it, hopefully, if he allows me, and we'll see what we can get up with. But thank you for coming, and we'll catch you in the next one.